Hello everyone, this is Navasha, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, Engineering College, Bikaner. In last lectures, we have studied about some of the basic concepts of transport layer and the functionalities of transport layer and two protocols TCP and UDP of transport layer. Okay, one of the major functionality of transport layer is congestion control. So we will see what is congestion and how the congestion comes into the network and what are the parameters of congestion and what are the traffic types and how we can stop congestion and what is quality of service. So first of all, see congestion is something related to traffic. So first of all, we will see what is data traffic. See the main focus of congestion control and quality of service is data traffic. In congestion control, we try to avoid traffic congestion. So, but in quality of service, we try to create an appropriate environment for the traffic, so that we don't get so the network don't get congested. So before going to discuss congestion control and quality of service, first we will see what is data traffic. So the main focus of congestion control and quality of service is data traffic. So first of all, we will see what is traffic descriptor means, some of the terminologies of traffic, data traffic. Okay, so this is the figure represents some of the parameters. So first of all, average data rate. Basically, the average data rate is number of bits sent during a period of time and divided by the number of seconds in that period. So we have this formula for average data rate: amount of data divided by time. The average data rate is very useful characteristics of traffic because it indicates the average bandwidth needed by the traffic. Next we have peak data rate. So the peak data rate defines the maximum data rate at the traffic. So the peak data rate is very important measurement because it basically indicates the peak bandwidth of the network, or the peak bandwidth of that the network needs for traffic to pass through within changing its data flow. Next we have maximum burst size. See, although the peak data rate is a critical value for the network, it can usually be ignored if the duration of the peak value is very short. Okay, for example, if we take if data are flowing steadily at the rate of 1 Mbps and with a sudden peak of 2 Mbps for just 1 millisecond, then the network can handle the situation and this can be ignored. However, if the peak data lasts for 60 milliseconds, so there may be a problem for the network. So basically, the burst size means what is the size of the, that means what is the time of the burst, it is the major thing. If it is for 1 or 2 milliseconds, then we can ignore it. But if it is higher than that, like 60 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, there will definitely be a problem. The maximum burst size normally refers to the maximum length of the time the traffic is generated at the peak rate. Okay, next we have effective bandwidth. Effective bandwidth is the bandwidth that the network needs to allocate for the flow of traffic. The effective bandwidth is a function of three values: average data rate, peak data rate, and the maximum burst size. So the calculation of this value is very complex. So we will see three traffic profiles. See, first one is constant bit rate, next is variable bit rate, and the third one is busty. So we will see them. See, in constant bit rate we have the traffic means data rate is constant. Okay, in variable bit rate it may vary, but in bursty traffic it is like it's just unpredictable. It can be higher, very much higher, it can be very much lower. Okay, so we will see first of all constant bit rate. Constant bit rate is a fixed rate. So traffic model has a data rate that does not change. So in this type of flow, the average data rate and the peak data rate are same, and the maximum burst size is not applicable. This type of traffic is very easy for a network to handle since it is predictable. So the network knows in advance how much bandwidth to allocate for this type of flow. So it's something constant, and it's something a stable state of the network. Okay, next we have variable bit rate. In variable bit rate, the data of the rate of the flow changes in time. So the changes are smooth instead of a sudden and sharp. These are smooth changes like this. So in this type of flow, the average data rate and the peak data rate are different. The maximum burst size is usually a small value, some little values. So this type of network is more difficult to handle than constant bit rate, but they normally does not need to be reshaped. Okay, next we will see busty traffic. So in the busty data category, the data rate changes suddenly in a very short time. Okay, you can see this, there is a very sudden change. It is maximum, then it is zero, then it is like this. So it's very sudden change is there. So to handle this change is very difficult. It may jump from 0, for example, to 1 mbps in a few microseconds, and vice versa. It may also remain at this value for a while. The average bitrate and the peak bitrate are very difficult values in this type of flow. The maximum burst size is also significant. So this is the most difficult type of traffic for a network to handle, because the profile is very unpredictable. So to handle this type of traffic, the network normally needs to be reshaped using some reshaping techniques. Okay, busted. So basically this kind of traffic, that is busted traffic, is one of the main reason of congestion in a network. Okay, so if there is a congestion, then there is a busty traffic. The reason is busty traffic. Okay, so we will see what is congestion. Congestion in a network may occur if the load of the network, the number of the packets sent to the network, that is the number of packets, load means the number of packets sent to the network, is greater than the capacity of the network. So the number of network is capacity, it's greater than the capacity of the network, the number of packets a network can handle. It's simply what is capacity? Capacity is nothing but the number of packets a network can handle at a time. And if the data flow increases that capacity, that means the number, there are the number of packets which a network cannot handle. So that condition is known as congestion. Okay, it's simply, if we take an example of vehicles on road. So if we consider the situation of traffic jam, so that is similar, that is a similar condition of congestion in network. Congestion control refers to the mechanisms and techniques to control the congestion and keep the load below the capacity. So we will see them later, congestion control techniques. Okay, first of all we will see how this congestion arises. See, congestion in a network occurs because routers and switches have queues, buffers that holds the packets before and after processing. Okay, see, each router has some capacity. So if you send the packets which are greater than the capacity of the router, then the router has to keep the packets in the queue, in the waiting queue. So when a packet arrives at the incoming traffic, it undergoes 3 steps before departing. Okay, so the first one is the packet is put at the end of the input queue while waiting to be checked. Then the processing module of the router removes the packet from the input queue and uses its routing table and the destination address to find the route. Third one is the packet is put in the appropriate output queue and waits to be sent. Waits for its turn to be sent. So basically we need to be aware of two issues. first, if the rate of the packet arrival is higher than the packet processing rate, the input queue becomes longer and longer. Secondly, if the packet departure rate is less than the packet processing rate, then the output queues becomes longer and longer. So these two things we have to take into account. So next we will see network performance. Congestion control involves two factors that measure the performance of the network: delay and throughput. So we will see delay as a function of load, and throughput as a function of load. So see, when in this scenario, when the load is much less than the capacity of the network, the delay is at its minimum. Okay, the minimum delay is composed of propagation delay and processing delay, which is negligible. Propagation delay and processing delays are compulsory delays. Okay, so they are considered as negligible. However, when the load reaches the network capacity, the delay increases sharply, because we now need to add the waiting time in the queues to the total delay. So note that the delay becomes infinite when the load is greater than the capacity. Okay, if we consider the size of the queues, when almost no packet reaches the destination or reaches the destination with infinite delay, then the queues becomes longer and longer. Delay has a negative effect on the load and consequently the congestion. So when a packet is delayed, the source not receiving the acknowledgement, so what it will do, it will retransmit the packet, which makes the delay and also makes the condition worse. Okay, if we see throughput as a function of load. Okay, so what is throughput? We have already seen in data link layer. Throughput is nothing but the number of bits passing through a point in a second. So here we can extend the definition. So from bits to we will move from bits to packets, because we are talking about transport layer, which is above the network layer. So above the network layer we talk about packets. So we can define throughput in a network as the number of packets passing through the network in a unit of time. When the load is below the capacity of the network, then the throughput increases proportionally with the load. So we expect the throughput to remain constant after the load reaches the capacity, but this is not true. The reason is discarding of packets by the routers. Okay, we are increasing the load, but the load but what so we should think that yes, we are utilizing the network, but it's not like that. The packets are being discarded, so this basically decreases throughput also. So when the load exceeds the capacity, the queue will become full and the routers have to discard some packets. Discarding packets does not reduce the number of packets in the network, because the source retransmit the packet using timeout mechanisms. So when the packet when the packet does not reach to destination, then the sender will again retransmit the packet. So it also causes congestion, and also the throughput is also reduced. Okay, so if you want to achieve throughput to the maximum, so you can only increase up to some, you can increase the load up to some limit only. If after that, if you increase the load, then the congestion will be there and the throughput will be declined. Okay, thank you so much.